Hello everyone. Now that we have worked on data visualization, Power Query, and on formulas using tags, let us see how we can publish our Power BI file. As I mentioned before, Power BI does not give you any restriction. Unlike Tableau, where you can only save your work on the cloud if you're working with the free version of Tableau, Power BI does not have any such restriction. Even if you have a free account with Power BI, you can still work with all the features, save your work on your computer as a PBIX file, and send it as an email attachment to other people as well. If you want to publish it to the Power BI service, that will also work without having to pay any money, but you will have to create an account. And the account, remember, can only be created either with a corporate or with a college ID. Once you have done that and you have signed in, save your Power BI file. I'm using the solution 1 from the first section that we worked on. And I click on the publish button, and this will publish this to the Power BI service. Now here there are different folders that I've already created. So I'm going to save this in my trainings folder. Click on select. And now the entire Power BI file is being published on Power BI service. Once that happens, you can either click on this link to open it directly. Otherwise, if you want to open it afterwards, you can just go to the website, which is app.powerbi.com. And here you notice that in my workspaces, I have different workspaces, which are like folders. And then I click on trainings. And then if I scroll down, I should be able to find solution from video section 001. So whenever you publish your Power BI file on the service, it gets uploaded in two ways. So one is the report that we created. The other is only the data set. So when I click on the data set, for example, you notice I can't see the report that I created, but I can create a report from scratch like this. Let's go back. And if you click on the report, then the same report that you created on Power BI desktop is visible here as well. You can see all the pages are here, all the tooltips work. Essentially everything you can do with Power BI desktop, we can do here as well. On this interface, we also have the option of making it full screen, which unfortunately doesn't work on the desktop version. I can also export both as a PowerPoint and as an Excel file. I believe for these features, you do need to have a pro account. As you can see, I'm currently on a Power BI Pro trial. You can see if you can get a free trial for it. In any case, I'm going to tell you how this works. So when I click on export, one is I can export it as a PDF, which is just a PDF document, or I can export it as analyze in Excel. This will take a little bit of time, so I want you to wait and see what happens. Okay, so now it says your Excel file is ready and it has been created in OneDrive. So if I open it in Excel for the web, you will notice that it creates a pivot table where I have all the different fields from the Power BI file that we had, and I can create any report that we want. The other option we have is to go to export and to export it as a PowerPoint, where we say embed live data. So when I open this in PowerPoint, you will notice that it opens a brand new PowerPoint for me. And here you can see there is a window, and in this I can see that page from my report. And as you can see, it's still completely dynamic. So all the tooltips, all the interactions still work. How cool is that? The other way of embedding a Power BI report in your PowerPoint is to go to Insert and then select Power BI. This feature might only be available on Microsoft 365, so you might have to update your version of Excel in case you are not able to see this feature. So I go to Power BI and it asks me for the URL. So I can just go back to my browser. Let me select one of the other pages. Let's say this one. And I go to my URL bar, copy. We come back, paste the URL here, and then click on insert. And here you can see we have the Power BI page here. Do keep in mind that you have to be logged into Office with the same email ID that you used to log into Power BI as well. Other than that, I can always go to File and then download the Power BI file as a PBIX file. I can also embed it either on SharePoint or on a website. There is also an option called Publish to Web, but you have to use that very carefully. When you go to Publish to Web, your data and your report also becomes public, which means that when you do this embed, it will give you an embed code, but the data becomes public. So don't use it if you have any confidential data. And the final option we have is for the share. Now the share will only work if both the sender and the recipient have the Power BI Pro account. So assuming that you have a Pro account and the sender and the receiver does not have one, you will still not be able to send it. So both the sender and the receiver need to have a Pro account for this to work. And the final thing I wanted to show you was that on an Excel file, you can go to Insert and you can see there's an option here called Pivot Table from Power BI. And here you notice all the Power BI data sets that I have, I can select them directly from here. Let me take one of these examples. So I click on Insert Pivot Table. And then directly from my Excel, I can use a data set that is there on Power BI, which will have all the DAX measures and everything in it, and it works perfectly. So that, everyone, is how we can connect Power BI with Excel and PowerPoint and how we can publish a report to the Power BI service.